Hi, everyone. This is Natalia Ochoa, and I was really inspired to create this podcast because I wanted to share a piece of wisdom that I'm currently integrating into my life. We all have the ability to create our reality in which we can heal ourselves. Hopefully, through the conversations I'm passionately sharing, you'll discover the power of your own intuition. Hello, and welcome to Wake Up, the Power of Your Intuition. I am Natalia Ochoa. I am so excited to start this. So I decided to start this because there is so much interest right now on tapping into your own intuition, on starting your spiritual journey, on understanding what it means to fully be connected to yourself and to your aligned path. Especially with everything that's going on in the world, it's now is such an important time to really be looking inward, right? So I created this because I myself have been on a massive spiritual journey for the past 5 years. And, I've gotten so much interest on these topics, and I love talking about these things. And I decided to create this platform to introduce you to all of the wonderful people that I've worked with. And I'm just so excited to, bring them to you and to have interesting conversations so you get a different, nugget of information or idea from different perspectives. And, our first guest today is Allie Ninfo. I have worked with her in her mentorship program. I have worked with her, doing specific classes like body talks. And I have started really healing my uterus from a lot of period pain through some of her classes as well. And I just, she's a dear friend of mine, and, she's helped me a lot in my spiritual growth. So Allie has been channeling information for people since she's been 5 years old, knowing that things were going to happen before they did, and seeing the ways and small shifts that people can make in their lives to massively serve them and make big shifts in their lives. Allie decided to take her natural born psychic gifts and hone in on them. Through many years of mastering her intuition, she's able to pinpoint exactly where a person is blocked in their life and see exactly how it is to help them get out of it. Whether it's with their health, career, finances, relationships, or whatever's being blocked for them, Allie can see vividly a blueprint of people's souls in this lifetime and get them from where they are now to the most fulfilled and successful version of themselves extremely quickly, simply by identifying what's holding them back and helping them shift out of the blocks, mental, physical, emotional, and energetic, into a freedom and abundance of all kinds. Oh, hello!
Hi, you sunshine.
Hi, Sunshine Queen.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm Miss Plant Queen today, so.
Oh, I'm on this thing with coconut oil. Like, I don't understand why people need to go out and spend like so much money on products. I'm all about spending money on things, but coconut oil is completely natural, so good for you. And it's like $4 at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. So I just get it and I rub it all over my body every day. And my skin is so soft and shiny.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I learned this new thing that if you ever want to warm it, you put it in a glass container and then you put another glass container under it. You just put like hot boiling water and then it's all warm.
Doesn't it turn into a liquid then?
It does. But then you just, it's all about.
I know, I'm like all oiled up. I'm like,
exactly. Okay. Yeah. So I wanted to thank you so much for coming on and sharing this experience with everyone. So I like to ask this question because I think it's the best question to ask everyone because the answer is going to be so diverse. So what was your spiritual awakening like? What did that look like for you?
Yeah. Oh God. Okay. Where do I even start? Okay. So I guess when I was 5, I woke up one morning and I was like, Mom, Grandma has kidney cancer. And you're 5. You don't even know, what that means. Like, I had no idea. And my mom was like, no, she doesn't. And I said to her, yeah, no, she does. And my mom said, why do you think that? And I said, they told me. Okay, whatever.
And I'm sure that your mom was like, oh, kids, they.
Yeah. Yeah, she was like, you don't even know what fucking kidney cancer is. Like, what are you saying? And I was so matter of fact. I was like, no, Mom, they told me. 3 weeks later, they found out she had kidney cancer. She's totally fine now. Like, she's well and healed and good. But yeah, and so that happened. And then I would just say these things that my mom would look at me and kind of be like, how do you know that? Like, they'd be a little bit confused. And then at my grandfather on my dad's side, at his funeral, when I was 12, I want to say, I was having just a straight up conversation with him, like with his soul, who was crossed over. And I went up to my dad and I said, it's okay, Dad. No, we call him no, it's Italian for grandpa. I was like, no, he's totally good. He told me this, and this. And it was also about my dad's childhood that I wouldn't have known. And he looked at me and he was like, how did you know that? And I was like, he told me. And they were like, okay. And I remember at that funeral, I was crying hysterically, nonstop, couldn't stop. And it was because I was just feeling the emotion of everyone around.
How old were
you? You're 12 when someone passes, like you're sad, but you don't really understand. And I was hysterically crying, and that everyone was so confused of why I was like, I mean, it wasn't just crying. I was like, like the whole day long. And it was just because I was massively feeling everybody's emotions. And these things would happen on and off. And I remember going to, my mom's friend's house who I'd never been to before. And we pulled up in the driveway and I saw this woman like clearly walk by through the window. And I went in there and I asked my mom's friend, I was like, oh, is your daughter here? Not even knowing if she had a daughter. I was like, do you have a daughter? And she said, no, like I'm the only one who's here. And I saw like straight up just like this soul, like just there in physical form. And these were all things that I didn't really understand. And I thought was normal, but I was also scared of at the same time. And at night I would go to sleep and I would hear just like people talking, and it was scary. And I would like go to my mom's room because I didn't know what it was. And so anyway, fast forward, I completely run the fuck the other way from this. Like in high school and middle school, I was like, I'm so weird. I hate myself. I completely just conformed my energy into who was around me. And it was one of those things where I got along with everyone and everyone liked me, but that was the problem, right? That everyone liked me and I got along with everyone. And that's a problem. So, because I wasn't being my authentic self, and I was literally molding myself to who I was hanging around. So suppressing it. And I was training in dance. And then I ended up turning 18 and going pro. I moved to New York City, danced there for about 8 months. Then it brought me here, got in an agency really fast, and started having some of my dream dance jobs. I was dancing back up for an artist. The job that I thought was going to be like, I am fulfilled, I have made it, I can't wait to put this on Facebook and log on to my mom's Facebook and post it through her Facebook so everyone on there knows that I'm doing something.
The end all be all, I freaking made it.
Yeah. Like I was like, if I do this, I've made it. Like I'm rich, I'm validated, I've done it all. And I'm at that job and it's kind of like the wah, wah, wah. Like I was just like, I was there and I was like, like this is not it. This is not it. And I, best circumstances you could think of in a job, like, pop artist who's known, it was, like a job for Tiffany and Co. You know what I mean? And it was all of these things that the pay was pretty good, not as good as it could have been, honestly, for who it was all for, right. Which is a whole other problem that in the industry. But I was just sitting there and I was like, wow, I am so unfulfilled. And that was the job I said to myself, if I'm not fulfilled here in what I thought was going to fulfill me, I'm not going to be fulfilled anywhere in dance. And I knew I was running from a huge part of myself that I loved personal growth. I loved making myself a better person. And I was also running away from the intuitive psychic medium side of myself that was screaming to come out and to mesh the two together. And finally I was like, I can't do it anymore. I cannot keep doing this. And I said, I'm going to take a year off dance. And if I want to go back, I'm going to find who the fuck I am outside of dance. And if I want to go back, then I will. And I didn't want to go back. I walked into my agency and I left, and peacefully, and I thanked them, and they were like, wow, that's awesome. And I haven't gone back since. And I've completely, because I've allowed myself to completely find myself and go through that spiritual awakening on my own again. It was like round 2. And it was kind of realizing, I would say the first time it was more of just like, oh, this happens. Like I wasn't really awake or aware.
It was like, it was just like you understood, because when you're a kid, you don't know. And what did your parents, like when you would tell them these things and when these things would happen, like in the funeral or your mom with the kidney, did they fully understand what that was? Like, were they able to help you through it? Or did they kind of just like ignore it and just say, oh, that's just Allie, I guess?
Ignored it. Yeah, they kind of like pushed it aside and thought like it was just because I was little, or kids are intuitive or whatever. And they are 100%. And it wasn't until, even when I told them, you know, hey, I'm leaving dance to find myself, you know, like, they were like, okay. And I got so many hate voicemails and texts from everyone back home, you know, and I wanted to listen to them. I really did. But I was like, no, I have to trust this. And that was when I had my second spiritual awakening, is I really kind of like shifted out of like what I've known anything to be was just all a lie. I was like, holy shit, my soul and source, God, the universe, whatever word resonates with you, have a contract for me, for every soul does. And I have a contract in this life and I need to fulfill it, or else I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to feel fulfilled. And that's why I didn't feel fulfilled with dance. My soul contract was over with it. And I thought to myself, wow, if I don't tap into this and if I don't really own who my soul chose to came here and be, then I'm just going to be miserable. And also the world is one big mirror of me. So if I don't love and appreciate and accept myself fully, then I'm never going to feel that 100% back from anybody else. Whoa. So I think that really, that was my spiritual awakening, was I experienced shit and I didn't understand, and I thought it was weird and I ran away from it. I made fun of it because it was a defense mechanism. Yeah. And then I kind of woke up to the way energy works and the way that souls work and the way that we don't really die. We just cross over to a different dimension or realm. And how my internal world is a direct reflection of my external world, and energy is magnetic, and that whole thing just completely shifted my life and got me to doing what I'm doing today.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting, because like hearing you talk all about that, because it makes me think of when I was little. Like my mom was the one that would, like, because I'm Colombian, so she was all about the like, let's get the readings, like, and in Miami, it's Miami. It's like, let's go get the card readings, like, and like all the Cubans know, like, about like tirar cartas, which means like pulling cards and stuff like that. So it's interesting how, it's so different for everyone. And I actually wrote, and I'll talk about this another time, like on my own, but I wrote a book in the 4th grade called Second Life. And oh my God, wait, I'm actually gonna, hold on.
No way.
I was 8 years old.
Shut the fuck up. You're literally, light is coming down onto you.
Literally, yeah, into this. Literally, I was 8 years old. I was like, how did nobody, like, the entire story is about a second life, like a person dying, and then like remembering as like the second birth, remembering their past life. I'm like, how did this book get published? I was like, did my teacher not read this?
How did no one look at that and be like, this girl is drinking the juice. She knows.
She knows what's up. So interesting, because I feel like I did have it, obviously, but not to the extent, but it wasn't, I didn't even like, know how to explore it. So it was so interesting to hear how it was so loud for you, right? When you were little, and how it's all, because I think that if maybe you were loved and accepted like that, and if your parents knew, maybe you wouldn't have, dealt with so many of the things that you did to get you to where you are now, right?
For sure. Yeah. And I think, My parents, I've had my fair share of like trauma and things go on with them, but they were unhealed but I love them so much and they did the best that they could with what they knew. And I, have such a good relationship with them now because I was able to heal myself and do the healing for that. But yeah, I think that there's so many kids who have these gifts whose parents maybe don't understand, and it's completely suppressed because it's not normalized. And that's what freaks them out, because now I feel fucking normal as fuck. Like my clients, my students, my mentorship students all day long is who I talk to, my friends, right? That's who I talk to all day long, who do similar things or who understand. And I feel like it's my own little bubble and I feel normal until I, go out into the world and, but a lot of people get it. I'm so rooted into it now that I'm like, this is what I do. This is who I fucking am. Like, yeah, I know I don't look like a medium or whatever you say, but it's what I do. And I find a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. You get the few people who don't get it, and that's okay. And then I forget that, oh, maybe this isn't like crazy mainstream, but it's becoming more and more mainstream. Like my whole goal is to just make it fucking cool,
Yeah, because, exactly. Because it's so interesting to be tapped into other realms, right? And I think that just people, they just don't have enough information out there to really understand how to get there, what that looks like, and because it's such a taboo subject, it's kind of something that you do like on your own in secret at home. And you can't really start expressing it with like your friends. Like I remember, like with me, it started with cards. I loved like Oracle decks or whatever. And I remember bring them to my friend's house and they're like, oh, there's Natalia with her Oracle decks.
Here comes Natalia.
Oh, let me pull a card, and it just like advanced from there. But like, I think that it's something that you just sometimes, at least it was for me, and I don't know about you, that you kind of want to hide from and do in secret.
Yeah, at first,
when you're first starting to really delve into this.
Yeah. When you're starting to really go into it, it's something that I kept so secret, because if you are just having a spiritual awakening and you're not fully rooted to it yet, or yourself or your soul purpose, it's gonna reflect into other people. They're gonna show you how rooted you're not to it. They're gonna repeat back your own fears, your own limiting beliefs. And so I started to more tell people once I started to get more of a grip on it. But even then, imagine it's coming out of the closet. It's coming out of the
spiritual closet,
intuitive, spiritual, psychic medium closet, right? Like I remember I had a boyfriend at the time. He was so confused. He was like, what do you mean my grandma's talking to you right now? Like what? And my parents were so confused. Everyone back home was everyone. And that's when it's a testament to how much you can just stay in yourself, keep believing in yourself. And that's with anything. Like you don't have to be having a spiritual awakening. It could be with any career change or any identity shift or anything, that you really have to stay so true to yourself and so rooted and really have that tunnel vision and not let those outside opinions affect you. Because listen, if you don't want their life in any aspect, don't take their advice. It's always my thing. Unless someone is channeling information from you straight from the source, if you don't want an aspect of their life, don't take their advice. And that's just what I've started living by, because I used to be so concerned about the opinions of other people, and I really had to let that go during coming into myself.
Yeah, I love what you said about being so rooted to yourself and it kind of being reflected back. Can you talk a little bit more, like give a specific example for someone that might be going through this, and then what that actually looks like of it being reflected negatively back when they're not rooted? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I'll give a personal example of when I was in my past relationship 2 years ago. Great person. I love him. He is such a beautiful heart and soul, but he is not one to really understand these things. And I remember kind of 6 months into the relationship starting to really shift in my own world. It was when I left dance, and it was when I was really starting to test the waters of what can I say, what can I not?
Yeah.
And I would say things, and I would say, okay, for example, he would play fantasy football, and you would have to guess who was going to win or who was going to do good or whatever. And then you like win money or whatever it was. And he would say, who do you think is going to win? And I would intuitively test it. And he'd be like, no, not him, because he didn't do good last week. And I was like, no, trust me. Like that's who I'm getting intuitively is going to win. And he would make fun of me. He'd be like, no, baby, like, no. Like, it's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, they didn't do this last week. They're not going to win. And I was like, okay, whatever. Next week, he's like literally calling me like, oh my God, you were right. And so it was things like, because I knew that they were going to win, but because I wasn't fully rooted in like, wow, like I'm really fucking good at this. It got a lot of pushback from him. And also it was a lot of, me saying things like, oh my gosh, like I was having this ailment in my lower back, and I figured out what emotional and mental root cause was. And I healed the emotional and mental root cause, and then the physical ailment healed. And I would tell him about it, and he'd be like, no, that's not it. And if he would hurt something, like he had a back injury, and I said, okay, it's because of X, Y, and Z, mentally and emotionally. And he was like, no, I just need to go to the chiropractor. Like, just not believing anything I said and not really understanding me. And it was because I didn't understand myself, and I was confused about myself. And I was like, I'm having a complete identity shift right now. And he didn't understand anything I was saying. And it took for me to be able to heal my own body and my own life to be like, oh shit, this works. Then clients would come in, and I would see shifts in them, and them healing and them shifting. And I'd be like, oh my God, this works. And it was not that I was shocked, but I needed that validation, I think, to fully believe in myself and understand myself.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. And I think also that it also helps, at least I know that it's helped me a lot, be in a spiritual community where you can talk about these things with other people as well, right? Because or else you just feel like you're crazy if you're on your own hearing these things and these voices, then and so yeah, and I also want to ask you what for people that don't know. So what is it? Where is it that you tap into? What is source energy? What is this that you're talking about?
Yeah. So great question. And also when I hear things, it's not other people's voices. It sounds like my own. So I think a lot of people who don't know this work think like I'm hearing like a man's voice I'm not. It comes in a voice that sounds like my own, but it's not my words, not my thoughts. So it's not a different voice necessarily. I'm just hearing them speak, and it's filtering through my own voice in my head.
And it just comes in like very much. So people would then believe that it's their voice, right? It's easy to confuse.
Yes, it's easy to confuse, and that's why everyone is intuitive. But what we don't realize is we're constantly picking up on other people's thoughts and information and loved ones who've crossed over. But because it comes in as our own voice, we think we take it on as our own thoughts. But really, we're so intuitive all the time. Like if anyone ever says something and you're like, oh, I was just thinking that. Yeah, because you were just reading their mind. Or, oh my gosh, I'm thinking of grandma out of nowhere. Yeah, because she's probably right there. So,
right. And it's not scary, right? Because I think also a lot of people, because of movies and because of the entertainment industry, have, made it this big and scary thing, but it's actually so beautiful. It's such a pure energy that to have grandma next to you, right?
It is. It's not scary at all. And exactly, Hollywood, the only people who tell you to be scared of it is Hollywood. And, that's a whole other rabbit hole to go down. But Hollywood doesn't always have the best intentions. And Hollywood is controlled by higher up people who don't want you to wake up and who want you to be afraid of it. And so that's why that they are trying to make you fearful of it, when really it's the most beautiful thing. Like it gives people the most beautiful closure and healing. And not only that, it's not only talking to loved ones, it's tapping into people's minds. It's tapping into their soul self, their higher self, to source energy for them and to their energy off their body and helping them personally in their life. And that's what is so beautiful about this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what is source energy? What is it that you tap into, right? So what is that? Explain it.
Yeah, so to me, source energy is, I in my own time use the word God, but God to me is also source energy, right? It's all the same thing. It is the highest frequency form of information, energy, all knowing, pure love, no fear, no judgment, just pure love, and the highest intentions and best interest for sources, souls, children, right around. And that's what it is to me, and that's where I get my information from. So I tap into people's soul self, people's higher self, and source energy. Some healers tap into guides and angels, and we love guides and we love angels, but or even loved ones. Loved ones I'll do if they're coming in for a strict medium read. But if I'm giving someone life advice or life intuited advice on a direction to go in their life, I'm not going to call on grandma because grandma still has her own human opinions from this life. So she might not have like the person's best interest, even though those are her intentions. Maybe it's not the person's soul path. And
so it's almost when you hear this, you know, I think some people also explain it like this higher power. You know, some people just they know there's something higher than them, right? Yes. And what's the difference between a soul and a higher self? Like what is that?
Yeah, so really good question. So your soul self it's not you. It's genderless. It is not male or female. It is not what you look like. It is just your soul. And that is what has gone in all the past lives and brings all the soul karma with it from the past lives and all the memories from the past lives. And that's what's going through and gaining soul points and raising in frequency each lifetime. And that's what has the contract with source energy to come back in your life. Your higher self is you. Like your higher self is the highest version of you in this lifetime. So tapping into your higher self is seeing like, what does the highest version, most aligned, 100% tapped into the highest frequency you can vibrate at in this lifetime? What do they look like? What are they doing? How do they feel? And so a lot of times I think people separate their higher selves from them and they put their higher self on a pedestal. No, we are our higher selves. We have ability to tap into that energy every day.
Yeah. And yeah, it's almost like, you know, a higher self is also, you know, like what would we look like if we're just completely like seeing through the eyes of love, right? Like no judgment, no anything. It's that. And can you talk a little bit more about a soul contract and what that is for people that don't know, you know?
Yeah, 100%. So a soul contract is what your soul and source energy, higher power decide for you before you come into this life. So for example, the desires you have, actually in Latin, desire means of the Father. So whether the Father is God or source energy or the universe, whatever word you like to use, you know that your desires came from a bigger power than you. So it's because of the soul contract. So the things you start to desire, especially when you're little, before you have other people's limiting beliefs on you, it's a telling sign of kind of what your soul is here to continue to do in this lifetime. And what happens is if we have free will, right? So if we don't fulfill our soul contract, we get stuck in our free will and we're not the most fulfilled. And a lot of people sometimes don't know why. Why am I not fulfilled? Why do I feel like I want to suppress myself with drinking or shopping or drugs or alcohol or gambling or social media or sex or whatever it is? Or even working out too much, you know? Why do I feel like I need to drown myself out in this? And if a lot of times people don't question it. And so that's what gets you stuck. And that's what gets you unfulfilled and depressed. And that's what causes depression when we're not doing things that fulfill us and make us feel like we have a purpose, right? And when we are feeling like that, it's because we're not on our soul path, which is a part of our soul contract. And so if we fulfill our soul contract in this life and do the things that our soul set out to do, we then kind of get soul points and we go into the next life and we have an even thrivier, that's not a word, but thrivier life.
Yeah, it's like, because like life is like a little, you know, it's like a Pac-Man game, right? We have to look at it like that. So Allie, how does one connect to their soul purpose? I know that is what you're so passionate about. I know that that's what you love helping people do. Tell us, like, walk us through tell us.
Yeah, so I love this shit. So I'm so passionate about this because I ran away from mine for so long. And once I connected to it, it was like, boom, like students, clients, finances, happiness, not only that, like happiness, feeling fucking good for once in my life and confidence. And it's the best feeling I could ever describe. And it's better than any kind of validation that I could have got from dance ever. You know, like it's better because I'm happy in my own time when I'm home in my bed with myself at night. And I don't need without the praise or whatever from whoever. And that's the best feeling when you're happy on your own without that external validation. So how do you connect to your soul purpose? There's many ways. One, always recommend tapping into your intuition. So take an intuition course, learn about intuition, really understand like what it looks like to tap into your own, figure out how the universe communicates to you through what's around you, through colors, through numbers, through animals, through flowers, through feelings, through thoughts, whatever, through what someone else is saying to you, right? And because why intuition is like step one to tapping into your soul purpose is because there's going to be people with a lot of fucking opinions on what they think you should fucking do. And if you're not careful, you'll just follow it because that's what they did and that's how they're successful, right? So even if you want to build a business and you're going on to YouTube or you're going to business school and you're learning how somebody else did it, yeah, it worked for them, but we're all so unique. We're all so individual. Like, who's to say that's going to work for you? And who's to say you couldn't do it faster and quicker and better, right? And when we can channel things, that's how I built my business so fast, was just channeling what to do. And I didn't follow anything. I knew nothing about business. I got like D's and C's in school. Like I didn't go to college, absolutely nothing. And so it's first tapping into your intuition. And then it's kind of going, okay, who am I at my core? Like outside of labels, outside of everything, what attributes do I have at my core? Who even the fuck am I? And if that's hard for you, because a lot of us tend to be critical of ourselves, find other people who you admire, who you like, and find what you see in them. Like find attributes, write a list of what things you like about them. And because you're seeing it in them, scientifically, metaphysically, we cannot see in other people what we don't have in ourselves. So if you're seeing these things and these qualities in them, then you have those in yourself. So what you do is she is extremely powerful, right? Mm-hmm. You go, okay, when was the last time in my life that I feel powerful? You connect it to a memory, and that's how you start to shift your energy. That's how you start to shift the neural pathways in your brain and move energy, is by connecting that statement with a memory, and then you're doing a brain reprogramming statement, and you're seeing these qualities in yourself now. And that's what takes from an affirmation to a brain reprogramming statement, because affirmations don't really work, because if you're just going, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire in the mirror, you're going, no, I'm not, no, I'm not, no, I'm not. And it's almost doing the opposite effect, where if you're going, I'm making more and more money every day in my business, you can get behind that because you can see, oh, yesterday I found a penny on the street. Oh, yesterday so-and-so paid me this. Oh, I got a free coffee here. Oh, and you're seeing where more money is coming in.
Yeah.
So find the attributes about yourself. Then get a list of, if money wasn't a thing, if other people's opinions weren't a thing, what is my dream job? Like, how do I want to feel? Don't think about physical things or physical attainment.
Or titles necessarily, or what does it look like? Because I think you know, a lot of people are like, oh, but I want to be this, or I want to be that, but I think it's a little bit what you're saying.
100%. No titles, no physical things. How do you want to feel? I want to feel like I'm extremely fulfilled in what I do. I want to feel like I'm excited to wake up at 5 a.m. every day. I want to feel like I get to be creative every day. I want to feel whatever it is you want to feel like. Get like a long list of that, right? And then that's going to start to get you pretty clear on, it's going to weed out anything that you thought was your purpose. Because I have a lot of actors come to me who aren't really supposed to be acting. That's not their soul path.
You know, we can tell them about the story. I went to Allie and I was just like, Allie, what's going on with my acting career? She's like, plot twist.
Plot twist, you're not supposed to be an actor. And I have to drop that bomb on people 24/7. And I'm always like, don't shoot the messenger. It's not me, Allie, telling you that. It's your soul, it's source. Like, it's not, I don't care what you do. I'm just giving them, I'm just a mailman. And, but what happens is a lot of intuitive, gifted, entrepreneurial type of souls go to acting because they think that they're going to get that platform that they need to shift people and help people heal and change. And they think they're going to get that platform that they need to then be able to go off on their own. But it's not like that. You get this platform and then you're told what to do. You're given other people's scripts. You're taught how to feel. You're told what you can and can't say. You know what I mean? And then no one takes you seriously if you want to talk about intuition and this work. So
totally, because I always said, you know, I want to be successful. I want to be an actor because that's the way that I saw that I had a platform, right? That I had a platform. And then I'm like, and then I have this platform. And then because I would see other actors and they're the ones that have the mic. They're the ones, you know, that can share knowledge, that can share information. So, and I never put those two together, you know, until I really found all of the different layers of what I actually wanted and why I wanted it.
Exactly. And people rely on other people to give them that platform because they don't trust in themselves enough that they can give it to themselves and that they can create it themselves.
And also we're not taught how to do that.
Right.
We're not taught how to do that. It's a very systemic way of getting, you know, to that. And I know that for a lot of people, they're depressed because of this, right? So what would you say to the people that are struggling right now, especially during this time, that they're just so confused?
Yeah. Know this time during this whole COVID situation was the best thing that could have happened to anybody. And I'll tell you why. So even for me and for all of my mentorship students my mentorship program is where I work with people one-on-one and in group settings to help them build their business and monetize it. I've had 2 people so far to leave their 9-to-5 jobs and be full-time in their purpose. I have everyone else building up their purpose, and we've only been working together since April. And I myself have made more money and continuing to make more than I ever had during this pandemic because energy, money, fulfillment, purpose does not know that there's a pandemic going on. It's all in energy, right? And so during this time, if you're finding yourself depressed, that's the best place to be. That's the best place to have a spiritual awakening because that's the best place to shift your life, right? Because we all have our different rock bottoms, you know? And only when you hit it is when you finally decide to change something. And so if you're not feeling well right now, my heart goes out to you. I get it. I've been there. But start to take responsibility for how you feel, and you can shift. You create your own reality based on your thoughts. All a belief is a repetitive thought, and then your beliefs create your reality. So if you shift your thoughts, you shift your belief, you shift your reality. And if you can see, everything's both good and bad. Nothing's fully negative, nothing's fully positive. So yes, pandemic, annoying, the mask thing triggers me, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
but
and, you know, and a lot of people have, you know, like suffered the loss of a lot of people. So it has been really difficult for a lot of people. And that's not to say, and we're not discounting that. And we're not discounting the amount of people that are suffering and have, you know, been so severely affected by this.
Exactly. Yes. I'm not discrediting the people who are suffering or who have lost their life or who have been ill or who have lost their jobs. But what I'm saying is if you've lost your job, you probably didn't like it anyway. You know, you were probably complaining about your job anyway. And the universe did you a favor by you losing your job. And this is the perfect time to take advantage of all your time that you have to really start to give to yourself, because I think we rely on the external things. We rely on going out every weekend. We rely on the gym. We rely on our work to distract us from what's really going on inside. And so when we have all this time to sit here, of course people are getting depressed because they're sitting with their own thoughts that they've been avoiding for so long. And I encourage everyone to really just face it. Like, just look at it in the face, because it's the only way it's going to go away, and say, okay, this is happening. Depression, all it is, and I'm not discrediting it because it's terrible and it's the worst feeling, and I've been through it. I've gone through a lot of trauma, but you can get yourself out of it. You can absolutely get yourself out of it. It is a mindset. You don't have to identify with it. You can kind of look at it as an entity separate than you and go, okay, what are you showing me today? And usually it's showing you that you don't feel fulfilled and that you don't feel like you have a purpose. So start those lists. Those lists are going to massively start to shift your perspective and going, oh, wait, I'm here for a reason. I'm here for something. And then get a list of things that make you happy. Get a list of things that you enjoy doing and that you like talking about. And that's going to guide you toward what you were put here to do.
Mm-hmm. And for people that are, that are first learning on how to tap into their intuition, and because you talk about, being able to see someone's full life purpose from what, from when they work with you. So what does that look like when
Yeah.
someone comes to you and because sometimes it could take a long time for you to actually hone completely into your intuition, and making these lists, they can definitely help. But people sometimes, because I always encourage that you should always get help when you can't feel like you do it on your own, right? Like, don't always just do it or try to figure everything out yourself.
Yes, get help. Get, a spiritual business coach, or get a spiritual healer, get an intuitive healer, get a psychic, like get someone who is connected. I always suggest someone who is tapped into source energy, or tapped into your energy and can see things very clearly, because therapy is amazing and I've been to it and it's great and it helps. But if you're needing to get like, what is my soul here to do? It's really important to get someone who can clearly, truly see that and can help guide you to figuring it out. So for me, when clients or students come, I see it so clearly. I see a big helicopter vision of their whole life and their purpose in their career. And I go, okay, great. So I don't tell them everything, because if you look at where you're at now, and then I tell you, you're going to have a book and a TV show and a thing and a podcast and you're going to be talking to 500,000 people on stage, and they're going to be like, what the fuck? Like, I wanted to be an actor. I was coming in here to book my audition next week, And so what I do is I go, okay, great. So, I see this, and this, but don't worry. If someone would have told me, where I was going to be at 5 years ago today, I would have been like, you're ridiculous. There's no way. So trust me. And I said, okay, so what I do is I break it down, and I intuitively break it down. I go, okay, what is the next step? Mm-hmm. What do they need to do? And I ask the question intuitively, what does so-and-so need to do to get to this, like their highest alignment, the quickest way possible? And I break it down. Okay, maybe they start writing their memoir. Maybe they start right now every day taking 2 hours and getting an outline for a book and writing a book. And then from there we go, okay, where do they intuitively need to go? Do they need to self-publish, or do they need to publish it? I'm feeling like they need to get a publisher. So now we intuit the right publisher. So and everything is both physical and energetic. So we get you in alignment energetically, meaning like feeling really good, feeling really rooted, believing in yourself, knowing that your work is worthy of taking up space. And then you take from that feeling, you take the inspired physical action, and that's how you manifest things. You don't just sit there and go, book, New York Best Time Selling book, New York Best, and not do anything internal or not do anything physically, right? But you also don't want to be overworking yourself physically and thinking that a lot of times why we overwork ourselves physically is because it's overcompensating for the fact we don't believe that we're good enough. If we don't believe we're good enough, and we don't believe that it's worthy, our work is worthy of taking up space in the world, then no one else is going to work with us, because the world is a mirror of how we think, feel, and believe to be true about ourselves.
Yeah, totally. It's some people say like it's a co-creation with the universe, right? It's half and half. It's like everything, it needs to be balanced. It's 50% of the things that you desire and you ask for, and then like 50% of the things that you actually do, because you're still here. You're still a person on the planet, and you still have to create things.
Yes, we're on Earth. Earth is where we have to do physical work to get things done.
Yeah.
And that's why it's just so important to have both. And I say like, source is my business partner. The universe is my business partner. I channel the ideas and what my next steps from them and what I need to do to be in alignment. And then I am the one who's here, and I'm the one who needs to take physical action. And so we're just creating all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that makes you feel empowered. That makes you feel in control of your life. It doesn't make you feel like you have to wait for anybody else or anything, because once you fully understand what are the messages of love that are coming into you, then that's where you can start really actually thriving, right?
Exactly. 100%. And all thriving is, I love to use the phrase like, all thriving is to me is feeling fucking good. Just feeling good, feeling confident in who you are, owning who you are, embracing your full authentic self, because your soul shows every single attribute about you, every single quality about you, every single physical quality about you down to your pinky toe. And even if you think, you know, like there's a bad quality about you, there's not, because everything has both good and bad. And for everything you think is bad about it also comes good. So for example, procrastination. People used to get on me for procrastinating. I'm the world's #1 fucking procrastinator. Wouldn't do anything, wouldn't like write an English paper in high school until the night before, didn't read the book, and would still somehow get, you know, a pass without even reading the book. And procrastinating, people used to get on me for, and they used to say like, how are you gonna run a business if you procrastinate so much? And so I tried to not procrastinate, and I tried to do things 2-3 weeks in advance, and it didn't work for me. I ran out of ideas. I just would sit there and stare at the fucking screen, and it didn't come through as much, right? So what I did was I changed the word procrastination, and I found 3 good things that actually came from that worked for me. Well, I work really well under pressure. I'm extremely motivated, and I constantly have a fucking fire lit under my ass, so I get shit done. And so and those 3 things really fucking help me, and they're the reason why I am where I am today at the age that I am, because of those tendencies that I have that all come from the word procrastination that we think holds us back, but it's actually helping me. So I guarantee you, anything you think is holding you back, any quality you think is holding you back, find the good things that come from it and start identifying with those things, right? Because we don't have to identify with anything. It's like me saying to you, Natalia, like, you're wearing the ugliest fucking blue sweater right now, and you're going to be like, I'm not in a blue sweater. What are you talking about? And you won't be offended because you don't identify with having a blue sweater on. So if someone says something to you that is offensive,
right,
you're only offended because you're identifying with it. So if you don't identify with those qualities and you see how they're good and you see how they help you, then you're not offended. Then you're not triggered anymore. And then you can just live your life.
Yeah, going into that, because I really am excited about the whole body talks class that you teach and the whole concept of that. And it's something that, you know, a lot of people don't believe in, think it's complete bullshit. And I always like to say that it's never one or the other, right? It's never all energetic and never all, you know, it's not Western or Eastern, it's both. Like it's all of the things, right? So I want you to talk a little bit about, you know, your class and being and like being able to heal your physical ailments through your emotions and through emotional healing.
Yeah, for sure. So I created Body Talks because I got so obsessed with the body from a young age. And I developed asthma at a very young age. And while people develop way worse things than asthma, like way worse, I wanted to heal it because I was over it. I didn't want it. And I was in the hospital a lot for it when I was younger. And it affected my life, you know, all the time. And I was over it. And I was like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to see like how I can heal this. And if you think about it, like if you logically think about it, lungs, right? What's the function of our lungs? Take a deep breath, allow us to take up space, allow us to literally, like it's our life force. It's how we live. And so if they're not functioning properly, they're now not allowing you to take up space. They're not allowing you to take a deep breath. They're not allowing you to be fully thriving in your life because you can't, because you're out of breath constantly and you need to like stay small, because if you move too much, you're going to be out of breath because your lungs aren't functioning. So if you look at that now, if you take that physical thing and look at it internally, I emotionally didn't feel like I was worthy of taking up space. I didn't feel like I was worthy of expressing myself. I didn't feel like I was worthy of my presence, really, of being a bright light in the world or in society or whatever it was. And because of that, I didn't feel worthy of speaking my opinion. I didn't feel worthy of speaking up. I didn't feel worthy of having my own idea. Nothing, not one thing. And it hit my body physically. What I did was I started to take myself through the emotional and mental and energetic healing of feeling worthy and allowed to take up space and allowed to share my opinion and allowed to share what works for me and my beliefs. And when I did that, I haven't had asthma since. It's been like 4 years, haven't had it at all. And I used to be in the hospital with it constantly, and it's completely healed. And that goes the same, you know, with the broken foot I had, I injured my back very, very bad in high school, was told I was never going to dance or tumble again. What was I doing? Dancing and tumbling 6 months later, because a lower back injury, if we think about our spine, it's the foundation of our whole body. It's solid. It's literally what holds us up, right? And that's connected to finances, because finances are the foundation of everything. I mean, this is money, this is money, this is money. It's the foundation of everything. And I was super scared about finances. Obviously, like, I needed money when I was 18 years old, you know, and I didn't know how I was going to pay for anything. And I was so terrified of them. And plus, I come from taking that on from my family. And so when I started to heal my relationship with finances, my back is completely fine. Like, I never have an issue. And so it's all of these things are correlated with an emotional or mental root. Because if you think about it, like, when people say heart attacks are from stress, right? Exactly. The people, like, we've already been proving this, right? Headaches are from stress, right? Already have been proving this. Cancer, right? You're holding in this deep resentment that hasn't been healed for years and years and years. And now it needs somewhere to go. It needs somewhere to manifest into, right? And so I just became obsessed with really intuitively diving into each body part, physical and internal, of what connects to what emotionally. And as I healed it in myself and as I healed it in others, I saw the shifts and the differences. And I thought to myself, wow, I have to make this a class. I have to make this a thing.
Yeah, of course. And what do you say to the people that are like, well, you know, I've had this chronic illness, generationally, because some people do and have said that, oh, well, it's run in my family, so I just get it genetically.
Yeah. So it's a family thing. You take it on from your mom or your dad or whoever. You're taking that on from them. So you have the power to heal it and stop it from going into your family that you create, right? Because what happens is, for example, I have a birthmark on the back of my leg. It's like this white birthmark on my calf. And when my mom was pregnant with me, she burned the back of her leg on my dad's motorcycle in the same exact shape that the birthmark on the back of my leg is. And she has the burn. I have the birthmark. It's the same shape, same leg. And my soul in her womb took on her pain for her. Right? And so, love my birthmark. It's a nice little aesthetic situation going on. But I got it because my soul took her pain on for her. It's the same thing with any kind of a physical ailment. My dad's dad passed of colon cancer. My dad got colon cancer, right? Because my dad's dad passed his anger onto my dad. My dad absorbed it. My dad didn't deal with it. And now he took it on. I'm not getting it because I have already dealt with that anger and dealt with that pattern. And I've already healed that pattern. And so I'm free and clear of it because I've already healed it. And when you heal yourself, you heal your whole family line from the past and you heal your whole family line moving forward. So it's like we all have qualities of our parents the way we look, right? Physical qualities. So we're going to take on also their emotional qualities because whoever raises us, it shapes who we become. And if we don't heal the limiting beliefs that we took on from them, we will, whether it's in the womb or whether it's as we get older, manifest their ailments as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it makes me think because I think that something that's going on a lot is that people are really afraid to really look inward. There's this block, there's a fear of someone being like, well, if I just allow my emotions to run, like I'll explode, And what do you have to say to those people that know that just are so stuck, that understand that there's something deeper. They really know that there's something going on, but they can't look inward.
Yeah, listen, it's scary. Like I get it. It is scary. It's not fun. Healing anything is not fun. There's those memes on Instagram where it's like what everyone thinks a spiritual awakening looks like, and they're meditating and there's rainbows and butterflies. And it's like what it really looks like. And it's like a guy on a roller coaster, like screaming. And that's what it is. And it's not fun, but no, it's like, it's either put in that work now and be uncomfortable for a few months, or live a lifetime of uncomfortability and kind of a little bit of depression in the back of you, right? So it's either face it and be in it now for however long, weeks, months, a year, 2 years, and begin to finally heal it for good, or you just deal with it for the rest of your life and it's a thing that carries you. So it's really just allowing yourself and holding space for yourself to look at it and nurturing yourself through it, and finding people who are going through similar things, who understand you, finding, an intuitive or a healer to help you through it, finding a mentor or somebody to help you through it. But I really, really encourage it. If I didn't do it, I wouldn't be where I am today. I would still be extremely angry. I would still have an eating disorder. I would still have asthma. I would still have, it's just so much life. The quality of life is so much better when we can just heal from it. And being mad at someone and being angry at someone, it's fun and it's great, but it only serves us to a point, because being angry is like drinking your own poison but expecting the other person to die. It doesn't hurt the other person for you to stay angry at them. It only hurts yourself. And then it's only now affecting your life. So I went from kind of being a victim of my circumstances to taking control. How we take control is taking full responsibility for how we feel. And even though it's so easy to want to blame, and I get it, I've been through trauma that I can't even talk about on here because of things that were involved. But if you hold that against the person your whole life, it's only hurting you. And the second you can shift your reality is when you take responsibility for it. So just do yourself a favor. I know it's hard, or find, if you can't afford the help, watch YouTube. There's great people on YouTube who walk you through healing and healing trauma, and who share their trauma, and so you can relate. So there's always a way. That's always one of my mottos. There's always a way. I healed myself. I went through all this shit having negative $652 in my bank account. There's always a way.
Yeah, there's always a way, especially if we just ask, and especially when we believe in the possibility that it can happen. I mean, I'll share, like, I remember, we all have dad stuff, and talking about that, that I was able to heal my period pain. And, in one of the sessions, Allie is just like, she told me, she's like, you just gotta cry it out. And I was like, no, not again. I've cried forever about my freaking dad. Like, it's done. Like, God damn it.
You just gotta cry it out.
You just gotta keep it, and it just keeps coming. And like, I don't want to just like spend my whole evening just like bawling my eyes out from like deep, subconscious pain. But, whatever. And she told me to watch a sad movie, and, just to start it. And then so you can just really kick it up, from there, and just get it all out. And then, I watched A Walk to Remember, and like, that definitely did it for me. And I just spent like hours and hours and hours just like bawling, and afterwards, and there was things coming up that I was like, I think this is insane. And at the end of it, when we got back in our group, we all laughed about it, because that's what it is, and that's why there are so many memes that are about it. And that's why, it's just because, yes, to heal, we do have to go through this suffering, kind of what's, going with the pandemic. In order for all of us to heal, we have to go through this moment of, of chaos in the world.
100%. And yeah, exactly. Like, put on a sad movie and cry it out. And if you need something to trigger you, to cry. And it's really just facing it, because it's the only way it's going to go away. You can suppress it all you want, but it's only going to just creep up. It's just going to get more and more boiled up. And it's just going to start to manifest into your body physically. And you just don't want that anymore. And just do it for yourself. Know that you're worth it. You have a better chance of winning the lottery than getting into a human body, being on earth. Like, you're meant to be here. It's on purpose that you're here. It's not an accident. And know that you're worth it. Nobody was born on a pedestal. No one was born on a pedestal. Everyone was born equal. And the people who feel good, it's because they chose to feel good. They earned it. They chose it, and they did the work to get there. So just know that feeling good it's not easy. Like, I'm doing work on myself every single day to feel good. And the more you do it, the easier it is. And the more you do it, the more in your energy it is. And the more you just grow into that feeling, But at first, actually, it's not fucking easy. Just know that you're worth it. Like, know that you are worth putting the time and energy into, and that you deserve it. And meditate on it, or do a visualization of where, if you do this work, where you can see yourself ending up, and use that as your motivation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Allie, tell us, do we all have untapped psychic abilities?
100%. 100%. I think, some psychics like to keep that gift to themselves and say, no, you have to be born with it. Absolutely not. Everyone has it. Everybody has it. And it's just a matter of tapping into it and knowing how to use it. Our intuition, it's like this really nice, shiny thing. But if we don't know how to work it, then it's kind of useless, right? So we all have it. I mean, you can just see it if you ever get a feeling about someone who walks into the room and you end up being right, or you think about something before it happens, or you get a gut feeling about doing something. That's your intuition. We all have it, and we all have the ability to really tap in and hone in on it more. And just like I said earlier, like how we all have qualities of our parents, why wouldn't we have qualities of our parent energy, right? Why wouldn't we have that connection to our parent energy? The higher power put us here, and we came here for a reason, to follow our purpose and path. Why wouldn't we have access to how to get there, right? So we all have it, 100%.
Exactly. Amazing. So how can we follow you? Please let us know all your platforms. How can we know about how to know about you and everything that you do?
Yeah, I post a lot on my Instagram. So it's just Allie, Allie. My last name is Ninfo, which is hilarious. It's Ninfo. And it's just Allie Ninfo is my Instagram. No underscore. My old Instagram had an underscore. This one is no underscore. It's just Allie Ninfo. And you can follow me on there and on my website, www.allieninfo.com, where I have all my services and classes and courses. And on Instagram, I'm posting videos and little journal tools every day and that kind of thing too. So that's where I'll be.
Amazing. Yes, everyone go check her out. She's phenomenal. And if you feel called to her, then, to work with her, then please do so. And for the surprise, we will end it with this. A little dance party.
Oh. All right, everyone. Thank you, Allie.
Thank you so much for joining. If you found this podcast enlightening, please like, subscribe, share, and follow Power of Your Intuition _podcast on Instagram. This podcast is available on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube, and you can join my newsletter at nataliaochoa.com.